Good morning, good morning, good morning, South Florida. Hello, world. I am Robert Henderson Jr., President, Founder, CEO of the Henderson Financial Group located here in Miami Lakes, Florida. And joining me via Georgia, my brother from another mother, Mr. James T. Thomas. How you doing, James T? Can you hear me, brother?
I don't know how I'm doing, Rob, because hey, technology puts us in this world, but hey, AI always jumps in. But nevertheless, hey man, it's good seeing you. Don't know how long I'll be able to be with you so that the audience can partake of this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a private listener as you share with the world what we need to know about financial literacy and how the Henderson Financial Group is helping the world. Because wow, I'm finding out that our world is much larger than we ever imagined.
Yeah. They say it's large, but it's small, right? When I could be, I wonder how it could be large and small. I mean, I guess it's from your viewpoint, your perspective. You know what I mean? How you, as an individual, see the world and see yourself. Yeah, I mean, the more things change, the more they seem the same. One thing that I can tell you that does not change are principles. Principles are like universal laws. They you can't move them. You can name them differently. You can look at it differently, but they're the same. You know what I mean? It's the same process, the same principle, the same laws. And oftentimes we mix them up, but we can't really change them. It's like gravity. What goes up comes down. I mean, if you throw a pencil up, it's gonna come down. It's just that's the way it is. Like my grandma always said, if the washer don't get you, to rinse the wheel. If flash in the pan, a flash in the pan.
Hey Rob, that's one thing that this morning in my message, what happened was it talks about how we're living now, because most of us are living for that instant gratification, not realizing that doesn't last. But guess what the key phrase was? What is unseen to us is what lasts forever.
Isn't that something? What is unseen lasts forever. Yeah, man. It's like when you love somebody and they die, the love never goes. Isn't that something? You don't see them no more, but you still love them still. You still can think about them. Isn't that amazing? You still love them, and that love doesn't like die. I mean, it's not like, I see you later, I don't see them no more. I mean, you can have some, high school friends, and you can say whatever happened to them, and then you forgot about them. You know what I mean? But when you love, man, a person can die and you don't see them no more, but in your mind, you still love them, and your love can be just as strong. That's amazing, isn't it? And that's what you're talking about in terms of the greater things that are unseen. And all development always start in the unseen, and then we bring it into the human plane where you can actually see it. I see Parnell Victor there, and also Brenda Brown. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Parnell, can y'all hear me and James T good? Because we seem to be having a little difficulty with the tech here, with our technology here. I just want to hear this. Make sure that you can put a 1 if you can hear us good, and put a 2 if you can't. So, James, say hello, and see if they can hear you.
Okay. Well, I did just get a text. It said that I was a little low. But hey, Rob, what I'm going to do so that the audience can get all of you is I checked in. I want them to know that all is well. And what we're going to do today, folks, is we're going to hear from Mr. Robert Henderson, and of course what he has to give all of us so that we can be better. And believe me, Rob, that message was, what are you building? That was my message this morning. What are you building? So maybe you can put that as a part of what you're going to be sharing with us this morning.
That sounds good, brother. So since your mic is so low, you're not in your regular Kingdom studio. you in another studio. So
Stop, Robert.
and I know you like to be on point. Uh okay.
I'm not in Kingdom Studios today.
All right. Brenda Brown said,
much love.
much love.
I'm gonna buy out and check out.
All right.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll talk later. All right. We'll talk later. All right. That's James T. Like I said, Brenda Brown. Thank you, James. You say James isn't clear. I do understand that. He says he's going to buy out and check out. And that's because of technology. It's not really working. He's in a different location. So I'm going to take him out of there, and I'm going to just share with you all my sermon, i.e. my message today. And I want you to get it clear. You know, me and James been talking all week, man. We spent a lot of time together. Matter of fact, we were just in Warner Robins, Georgia, over the holidays last week, and we had a good time. His wife, my wife, and then we was up there for an event, and we met a lot of good people, man. And you know, the world is so, you know, when you are searching and seeking and knocking and asking for good, you know, it's impossible for it not to come. You know, you got to have you have to be, if you're about your business, about your father's business, about the creative business. And when I say about your business, there's something magical when we get together in love and respect and sharing. There is something magical, you know. Two heads have always been better than one. You know, you've never seen anyone reach their highest highs by themselves. I don't care who it is. If you look around, you're going to always, you look around, you look at history. No one can reach their highest highs by themselves. And there's something to be said about that, you know, especially selfishness or me. It's impossible for you to reach your highest highs because you the way that the creator set it up for us humans, and even on a spiritual plane, is togetherness, is sharing, is like groups in terms of just different minds coming together. You know, you 5 fingers or even 2 fingers is better than 1 finger. You know, it's just better. And when you have 2 heads or more, man, you'll be surprised how much ground you can cover and how much you can do. Now, today I'm going to share with you all something that I've been working on. I found, and I'm a type of person. See, financial planning and financial literacy, I don't just do this so I can make money. I really don't. I'm not. If I had to use one word to describe myself, I would say I am an explorer. An explorer. When I say an explorer, you know, you think about Christopher Columbus or other explorers, but you know, an explorer is someone who is always seeking and asking and knocking, never being content. And when you are an explorer, you really believe in good, better, best. Never let them rest until your good become your better and your better become your best. And that best is always changing. You know, it was once said that being success, you can never grab and hold on to success because it continues to move. You only rent it because it continues to move. What I mean by that, we grow, we change. Our universe, our world changes. You know, development changes. You know, the cars of today don't look like the cars of the 1960s, the automobiles. You know what I mean? Even the styles or the clothing or just the way we do things. If you really pay attention and look at it in its totality, we're forever moving and growing. So here at the Henderson Financial Group, you know, we have to continue to expand and grow. You know, if anybody, if you said that you knew me 10 years from now and you met me 10 years from now, and if you're even a client 10 years from now, one thing that you would find about me is that I'm not doing the exact same thing I was doing 10 years ago. There's always something new and improved, always. And unless if I'm not growing or creating or exploring and developing and growing, then I'm not living. In other words, I'm not living my real life. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy. So, I was talking to a guy. He was in New Jersey, and this guy called me yesterday while I was driving to the office, and he says, I answered the phone. He says, "My golly, are you always in a good mood?" and I said, "Well, I try to be. I mean, I look at things that whatever situation it is, this too shall pass. I mean, it really. Once I learned that life is not a Polaroid snapshot picture, then I got another chance. We can change the scene. Whatever it is, you can grow and you can get better. So I want you all, I'm saying this because I want you all to, that's the whole concept, the whole principles of the Henderson Financial Group. It's that Star Trek thing. We go where no man has been before, or we continue to explore and grow and learn. And we don't just serve TV dinners here. We always looking at you all individually and how we can make things better, and I'm saying that because today I want to share with you all something that I didn't even know was on the planet a year ago. And you guys see that in my travels, I travel at least once or twice a month, and when I travel, it's just not always just having a good time. I mean, I always have a good time, but it's always educational. I'm learning something, and I crave it. I crave learning something. You know how some people have addictions? My addiction, believe it or not, is I got to be learning something. I got to be growing. Otherwise, I feel like my plane or my ship is sinking. You know what I mean? I got a lot of clients that play golf. I mean, James T. love golf. I mean, I got a lot of clients that play golf. It's beautiful, playing golf. And I know if I decide to start playing golf, I know I'm going to try to put my all into it because I have an addictive type spirit. So that's why I don't do drugs. That's why I don't drink and be an alcohol. I don't do that. My father was an alcoholic. That's why I don't indulge. That's why I don't go look at pornography and do all that kind of stuff. I don't gamble. And I know right now, my piano teacher was telling me, Rob, are you going to play that lottery, man? It's at 1.7 billion. I said, really? I said, when does it come out? He said, Saturday, today. I said, oh my, he said, tomorrow. I was yesterday. He said, I said, man. I said, I don't think I'm going to play it. He said, why? I said, because in my soul, in my spirit, I know for me, I have to plant. I really believe in sowing and reaping. I have to plant a seed. Now, there's nothing wrong with you guys playing the lotto. People go out and play $100, $1,000 trying to get that 1.7 billion. But the odds are pretty slim that you're going to get it. Now they're going to let somebody get it. The way it works is when they put it out and says $1.7 billion, trust me, they're going to take in about $3 or $4 billion. No, they are. Because people are going to be putting money in, they're going to take in. Anytime you're doing a lottery, they're losing money because people bet probably $3 or $4 billion, and then they go ahead and they pay out that 1.7 or $2 billion. But trust me, they make money by doing it because people do. One day I'll break it down to you like a 6-year-old and explain how you do it. Parnell say, you already won the lottery. You free. You're 100% right. As I tell people right now, I know a lot of people gambling on the phone, on sports and all that. I'm trying to figure out, why would I gamble on myself? And why would I be paying somebody to try to get more money when, I can earn it. I could create money. I can create it by helping and serving. I can create it. And the more I serve people, the more I create it, and it comes. And that's how the universe really works when you really understand. But I want to share with you all something, like I said, a product that I didn't even know it was on the planet. But in one of my conferences that I go to every year, it's like a mastermind. They have the top advisors and we come together and we discuss strategy. Isn't that something? We actually discuss, it may be 200-300 people there, but they from all over the country, all walks of life. And people coming in, and then they take the stage and they demonstrating, they're talking about, this strategy. You like, wow. It's a beautiful thing, Now, you got 340 million people on in the United States. But when you get 300 to come together and they all walks of life, first of all, you got to be invited to this. You can't be no rookie and they won't invite you. You got to, it's almost like the honor roll. I've been doing this for over 30 years. So companies that I don't even know, they know me because somehow Big Brother always watching. They know who's doing what. Don't think you doing something, and they don't know it. Be so good that they can't ignore you. They might not like you, but then you just that good. You know what I mean? It's like creating recruiting a basketball player. Somebody, he could be in a little small town, but he's slam dunking and whatever. Some recruiter job is to find out, ooh, here's one, So they know you when you're so good and you really on your thing, they know you. You know what I mean? You're being discovered, But anyway, I want to share with you all that today, and I want to see, what do you think about this that I just discovered? Y'all know how long I've been doing this business, but I just discovered this. So imagine this. This time I'm back into this product, and then I'm gonna tell you what it is. But first, I want you to. I'm gonna set it up so you can get some understanding, because most people, the way I'm gonna set this up, most people can relate to it. Okay, so imagine this. You go. Most people, well, not most people. A lot of people go and they save money in a bank or credit union. They save money in a bank or a credit union. Somewhere they save money. Some people save it on the mattress. If you're saving your money on the mattress and you losing money. Why? Because it's not keeping up with the times, the cost of living. You have to be earning money on money. Money, I got to continue to earn money. Got to make more money. I know you work or whatever, you earn money, but then your money that you earn can't just sit there. It has got to earn at least 3% because the cost of things, goods and services every year goes up at least 3%, in cost and in value, in other words, $100 today, if you put it on the mattress, next year, you're going to need $103. That same item going to cost $3 more. If you're a landlord and you lease to someone, you give them a lease, but every year, their rent lease goes up 3% because that's the known number, a minimum 3%. And sometimes inflation gets to 4% and 5%, and go, oh Lord, we're losing money. That's why people say when inflation gets 5 and 6% and 8% like it was, they're like, oh my God, I'm losing money, because your purchasing power with that $100, now you need $108. I don't want to confuse you all, but that's something on that's another subject. On inflation and why your money should be earning money. But anyway, a lot of y'all have tens of thousands of dollars, probably $1 million sitting in the bank because you're scared. You're scared. And I understand you don't trust a lot of people because, boy, I tell you, fraud right now, oh my God, fraud is running rapidly. Y'all cannot believe how many emails I get in my email box weekly saying, hey, Mr. Henderson, this is so-and-so and so. And your account has been compromised, and we need you to log in and put your information in so we can make sure that your stuff is safe. Log in, and a lot of people just do it, and the crooks got your information. You know what I mean? Or tell you, hey, you just won this, or it's a package waiting for you. And then they don't even talk about it, don't even think about it. People from overseas, telling you this, and hey, I got a cousin that's in jail. You can get gold, and all kind of stuff. Anyway, so it's not a scam. So I understand why you don't trust a lot of people. I really, really do. That's why I say it's very, very important to get referrals. Get referrals. Who did that? You want to get your hair done? Women are notorious about they'll see a complete stranger, another woman in the mall, and they'll say, oh my God, I like the way your hair braided. Can you give me the girl name? They don't just go to anybody. So anytime you're doing business, you should get a referral, man, because then you can at least touch somebody and say, look what he did to me. He didn't treat me right. Did he treat you right? Do you know? Let's go. You know, you got to have referral. You can't just go cold turkey, because then, man, that's a lot of risk, because people will rip you off. Because right now, man, oh my God, fraud is, like I said, I can't say enough about how it's running rampant. And they come in all shapes and sizes. Beautiful woman, beautiful man. I mean, they got preachers, they got every doctors, they got, man, mechanics. And if you old and blind or whatever, oh my God, they have no conscience. They really gonna take care. They really going to rip you off if you old and blind or just don't know. And especially if you're a female. So, you know, the system we live in, reason why, because they say it's harder and harder to make legitimate money. So they doing a lot of fraud stuff, you know. But if you keep your ears and eyes open and just trust, have a referral. Talk to someone who has used that person, whether it's a painter, a lawn man, an air conditioner man, or whatever. And clients call me all the time and say, Henderson, you know, I need this. I need a fence put up in my house or whatever. Do you have someone? I call Homer. Or do you need an air conditioner guy? Okay, I'll call Johnny. Because, you know, if he's probably a client. If he do you wrong, I'm going to say, oh, you got to get the money back. You got to, you know, at least you got somebody to tell on. You know what I mean? Anyway, so most of us have money somewhere in a bank or credit union. And and I'm saying money, not money that you're going to be using to pay your light bill or your debit card or ATM machine, not that kind of money. A lot of us have some money that we just have set up. We call it lazy money. Okay. Now imagine if you had your money in the bank, and let's say you had $10,000 just sitting in the bank saving, because that's safekeeping. And every time you put the amount of money you have in the bank, they give you life insurance for that amount of money. That'd be pretty good, right? Because let's say if you say you have $20,000 sitting in the bank, and when you put $20,000 in the bank, what if they gave you $20,000 life insurance too? Now you have access to that $20,000, but you automatically get however money you have in this account. That's how much money they give you, double in life insurance. So if you put $20,000 in the bank, let's just say a credit union, what if they were saying, okay, you put $20,000, you got $40,000 in case you drop dead, or give up the ghost, or wake up dead. So not only are you gonna get your $20,000 in the savings account, but they're gonna have insurance in your life that says $40,000. So if you have $100,000 in this savings account, they give you $200,000 in case you die, and they don't tell them when you're gonna die, but at least you get, and it'll be tax free. Isn't that amazing? Can you imagine that? So a lot of people have that inside of a bank, but they don't get life insurance. What if there's a company that says minimum, if you put $25,000 saving, lazy money, minimum you're gonna get 5% interest on the money. And you may leave it in there 5 years, but that's just money you just got stashed, emergency money, whatever, right? And you can have access to the money when you want to. But as long as you have it in there, they're gonna double the amount of life insurance. I came across in my one of the conferences that if you put minimum $25,000, but if you put $100,000 in there, they're gonna give you $200,000 life insurance. And it's a life insurance company, and it's a single premium, meaning that most time when you get life insurance, you got to pay monthly, you know, or quarterly or annually. Here it's single premium. You take $50,000, bam, put it into that life insurance policy. Now, why would you do that? First of all, that's lazy money that you're going to have in a mattress. You're going to just be leaving it there anyway. Maybe in 3 years, you're going to buy a house. I don't know. But you put $50,000 there. As soon as you put the $50,000 there, bam, they give you $100,000 in case you drop dead. Okay, life insurance. So what happened to my $50,000? Okay, you're going to earn minimum 5%. Woo! That's better than the high yield savings. That's better than the bank. Can I make more than 5%? Yeah. Because if the stock market go up at the end of the year, 11%, your money go up 11%. Whoa. If stock market go up 10, but can I lose money? Can't lose a dime. Whoa. That's on the planet? Yes. Man, that sounds too good to be true. What is the catch? What is the catch? So the guy comes and says, okay, the catch is you can't be disabled. In other words, you can't have Alzheimer's. You can't be almost about to die. Can I have high blood pressure? Yeah, you can have high blood pressure as long as you're taking your medication. Okay. Can you have cancer? No, you can't have cancer unless the cancer is over. But you can't have it like in the last 3 years. Okay. What if you have insulin? Well, if you take an insulin, the question is, you okay? But they ask you, had you start taking insulin before age 20? And you go, no, I was good then. Okay, so you could. Okay, do you need a wheelchair to walk or whatever? Because you just say, now why would they care about that? Because this plan says that you put in 50,000, they're gonna give you guaranteed life insurance to 100,000. But if you get sick, hurt, or whatever, they're gonna also give you part of that money tax-free for any illness. So it's an index universal life single premium. I had never heard of that. It's a single premium index universal life. That minimum 5%, whatever you put in. Now you can't contribute to it every year. Whatever you put in one time, and the minimum is 25,000. And let's say it grows up. You cannot lose your principal because you put in 100,000 or 500,000, and you could put retirement money into this too. Can you believe that? I mean, when I looked at this, I said, "Oh my God! Look at all the possibilities that you could do with this." And then they're gonna give you 12 questions, and they're mainly 12 questions like, are you in jail, or have you been to jail? Have you robbed or killed, and stuff like that. But if you're trying to if you're taking care of your health, and you can get past these 12 questions, which most people can, unless, like I said, unless you are in a nursing home. They ask, are you in the nursing home? No, I'm not in a nursing home. And it goes up to age 85. But there's a lot of people that are in basically good shape. Now, they don't ask no question about, high blood pressure, diabetes. Like I said, if you take an insulin, then they ask. And that's only if you was taking it when you was age 20, and they don't ask anything about cholesterol. It's so most people have that high cholesterol. They don't really care about that. They care about, do you have AIDS, or do you have cancer, or have you had a heart attack in the last 2 years, things like that. But if you haven't, or if you have a defibrillator implanted, because they don't know anything will go wrong. But if you get around that, then it's a hell of a product. Single premium, minimum 25,000. I really like that because when I look at stuff like that, it's like me cooking in the kitchen. I got a new spice or new ingredients and how I can put this in there and make things even better. And it's pretty good. Now, the thing is the age starts at 45. You got to be at least 45 years old. If you're 35, you can't, they won't let you do it. Why? Because it's just too good. Because they know that if you're 35, most of the time you're in really good shape. They got to give you double that insurance, and they got to pay you 5% minimum. They can go up to 10, 11%. I think the cap is 11% that you can get. And every time, and then when you make that, it can never go down. So in other words, you can't lose a dime. Then after 3 years, you can get all your money back. No surrender charge, no nothing. Isn't that amazing? And if you put money, let's say you put $100,000 in there today, and next month you say, man, I need my 100,000. You don't have to take your 100,000. You keep your 100,000 working. You say, well, Rob, I need $60,000. My car broke down. I put $100,000 in this account, but now my car broke down and I want to buy me a new car, and the car costs $60,000. I got to withdraw my money out. No. Don't withdraw it out. Be smart like the wealthy people. Use other people's money. Since you got $100,000 in there and they're paying you minimum 5%, the insurance company give you $60,000, collateralize your $100,000. So in other words, you don't have to touch your money. If you got money, you can get more money. Isn't that something? And let me tell you something. Let's stop right there for a second. Let's stop right there for a second. That's deep. And that's a principle that we all need to grasp and understand that. Listen, I'm going to say it again. If you have some money, you can get more money without touching that what you have. I just want y'all to think about that, because that is deep. So when you understand that principle, it's like, blessed to the ones that have, for they should have more. I mean, that's in the scriptures. Blessed to the ones that have, for you should have more. Now, if you broke and you don't have, how you gonna try to get a loan to start a business or whatever? No. First of all, you fail the first requirement, prerequisite. You gotta have. You gotta, if you want your cup to roll, if you want your cup to flow over with goodness, you at least gotta have a darn cup. Can I borrow your cup? Because I want my cup to flow over. No, in other words, there's something you gotta do. So this principle says, don't eat all your nuts. Don't spend all your money. You gotta have a net worth. You gotta have something. If you start with 20, listen, I don't have $20,000 saved, but done, I'm going to dedicate myself to save me $20,000. I don't care if it takes me 5 years, but that's a start. So now when you done save $20,000, if you're such a spender, now you know that $20,000, you don't take that $20,000 and start spending some. If you got the $20,000, trust me, there's a system where you can get 20 more thousand by not touching your 20,000. It's like a pawn shop. It's like a bar. In other words, it's collateral. Collateral is, let me tell you what collateral is. Collateral is having something to get more. It's like a magnet, but you got to have something. I cannot stress how you have got to love yourself enough to have something. You know, that's why when they look at your net worth, they want to know what you've been working for 30 years and your net worth ain't nothing. You make $100,000 and you spend it all. What is your net worth? That's why I did a show a while back called Your Net Worth. And you got to look at your net worth. Your net worth, that means that, and it's not income, it's what you have actually accumulated and actually have after all of your debts are paid off. That's your net worth. Just because you got a house, $700,000 house, and you owe $600,000, your net worth is $100,000, because that $700,000 is your house, but you owe $600,000. If you sold the house for $700,000, you owe the bank $600,000, so your net worth is $100,000. Now, if you got a whole other, then you got to worry about the other debt that you have, credit cards. You got $50,000 in credit cards, and now your net worth is only $50,000. Oh no, you got student loans, Lord Jesus, and that's $100,000. So your net worth is zero. So you got to work on your net worth, because once you get your net worth going, that's why anytime you hear them talking about the billionaires and all, they talking about net worth. They don't talk about income. And listen, income come and go, man. Income. There's a lot of people that come to me and say, hey, man, this is a young surgeon, Henderson. My accountant told me to call you. Why? I make $500,000 a year. How old are you? I'm 35. I make $500,000 a year. Okay, how much you have saved? Well, I make $500,000. How much you have saved? Nothing. Well, how you got to make you're 35 years old. You're not married, no kids. What you got? 3 Porsches, a Corvette, Cadillac, SUV. You got 2 houses. You got a $5 million house. Just you yourself. Well, who you trying to show out and brag for? That's a lot of them NFL athletes and rappers. That's what they do, knowing that the principle, this too shall pass. Things change. Nothing stays the same. Now you may be looking good right now, but you gotta know, are you gonna be looking good later? I mean, I used to have an afro. I don't have. I tried to get the afro back. Things pass. It's gone, and I ain't getting ready to go to Turkey to get no hair bleeding. It's not worth that to me. It is what it is. Gravity happens. Stuff happens. Happens. You get old. You can't stop that. Everything must change. So whatever you're doing, you got to make sure that you're doing it because you know things gonna change. Always say things gonna change. So it ain't gonna stay like this. Nothing stay like death comes. Unexpected stuff comes. The roof, damn it, leaks. The car break, all things change. So you got to plan for the change. Yes, you got to plan for the change. Now let's get back to this product that I want to show you guys. And I want you to think about how you could use it. This is a single premium product. In other words, you put money here one time, minimum $20,000. So in other words, if you put in there $300,000, they're gonna give you $600,000 life insurance. They ain't even gonna ask you for no blood and urine and all that. They're gonna ask you questions. Can you walk by yourself? Can you take a shower by yourself? Or do you need assistance? Can you bathe yourself? You know what I mean? Can you take your medication? Yeah, I can do all that. If you ain't almost dead, then you can do this plan. And up to age 85. And you got to be at least 45 years old. That's the parameters, okay? From 45 to 85. But the minimum $25,000. One time, you save your money and you make a minimum 5%. So that's good, because in these banks, they ain't paying you nothing unless you wrap it up. You know, they should have that in CD. If the banks were saying, hey, if you do a 3-year CD, whatever money you put in there, we're gonna insure your life. No, they ain't doing that. Then they're not doing that, because banks ain't there to make you money. Insurance companies, investment, that's making you money. So you put in $300,000 or $100,000, and you can put retirement money. It's sitting somewhere in the bank or sitting where in this. You know, some of y'all shouldn't even be in the stock market. This thing is going on. I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all hearing from me, and I tell you, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've been doing this over 40 years. The market is up, but it's gonna come down. And if you're the type of person that's worried about looking at every market all the time and worried about that, you shouldn't be there. If you're gonna be in the stock market, that should be risk money, because it'll grow. I like the stock market, but it's not steady. When you get ready to retire, I don't put most of your money into the stock market. I put most of your money into show enough money stuff where I know that you're gonna get money every month so you can pay your bills and have a retirement. That's what I do. I put it safe stuff. All right. So if you come to me and you want to just spend all your money and take it and play the lotto, I'm not doing that. That's not me. You got the wrong guy. I care. Why? Because I've been doing this stuff for 40 years and I know how it works. All right. So think about this. You put this one product, you put money in there, $50,000, they're going to give you $100,000 life insurance. And a lot of people, I'm going to tell you something, needs life insurance. And this is an index universal life. This ain't no whole life. This is an index universal life, meaning that you have, the longer you keep the money in there, the longer you have life insurance. And the money going to continue to grow and grow and grow. You have access to the money. If you withdraw the money out and say, give me my money, then all the growth, you got to pay tax on it. But if you say, like the smart people do, say, I need the money, but I ain't going to tell you to give me the money. I'm going to tell you, let me get your money. Don't touch my money. Let me use my money as collateral. And insurance company, I need six. If I put $100,000 in there and I got $200,000 life insurance, so but I need $60,000. I just gave you the money last month, but I need $60,000. Don't withdraw my money. I need $60,000. I need $70,000. Then insurance company, they ain't gonna ask you what you gonna do with the money. They don't care what you do with the money. Why? Because you got $100,000 with them, earning minimum 5%, and they will turn around and they will direct deposit or wire or whatever, that 60 or 70,000 or even that 80,000, they will send it to you. That's pretty done good, and there's no taxes. Now, so somebody will ask, Robert, it's my money. I put my money in there. Why, when I ask my money, why are you telling me not to withdraw my money? Why are you telling me to use my money as collateral and borrow against my money? I'm gonna tell you, because in the U.S. tax code, the law, U.S. tax law says anytime you borrow your own against your own stuff, it's not a taxable event. Anytime you borrow against your own assets, you don't have to pay taxes. I want y'all to think about that. See, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Apple, all the big companies, y'all can imagine how much money they borrow. These people make billions of dollars every quarter. They got the money, but they borrow money. I was just reading about Pam Hilton, the heir of Hilton Hotels. She bought a $65 million house from that guy, Mark Wahlberg. $65 million. She could have just paid cash. But that ain't it. That's not smart. She financed like $45 million. In other words, she got a loan for $45 million. She ain't pay cash. Now you might say, why she did that when she could just write? Because if the loan only costs her 7%, but she could take the money instead of putting it in the walls and get 10%, she ahead of the game. It's like an attorney called me the other day out of New York. And this guy's an attorney at Microsoft. And he says, Rob, I'm gonna retire and I want to pay off my house. And I said, how much you owe? And he said, I owe 1.5 million. I said, well, what rate you gonna use? I mean, what rate they charging you? He said 6%. I said, you're gonna take 1.5 to pay off 6%. Now you take that 1.5 good money that you're earning more than 6% on, you're gonna turn that and pay off the mortgage. So you won't have no mortgage payment. Now that 1.5 million that you're gonna take to pay off that mortgage, it can't make no more money for you. Soon as you pay off the house, you put that money dead money. He said, what you mean by that? Think about this. When he take, that's what I'm trying to tell you about leverage, borrowing. When he take and pay cash for the house and pay the mortgage off because he's gonna retire, he ain't gonna have use of that money no more. He gonna pay the mortgage company who's gonna be like happy, ooh, but his money gonna be tied up in the walls. He got equity, it's in the dirt. And when you have money in the dirt and you have a house paid off, you ain't even making a penny. You making less than what the bank could pay you. You ain't making no interest. You ain't making no dividends because you just psychologically, it's in the walls. See, that same house, when you pay and you pay off the house, and you have no mortgage, that money don't grow anymore. Houses don't grow based on the equity. Every house, every real estate appreciating grows based on the appraised value in the area. That's what make a house grow. The appraisal value, not the equity, not if this house paid off or not paid off or how much. No, because when you dump money into a house, the money it ain't growing no more. If the house appreciate based on appraised value, the neighborhood. If everybody next to you start getting foreclosed, your house gonna appraise lower. If everybody's house is fixing their houses up, that's why neighborhoods want people to move into the neighborhood who gonna keep their house and their yard clean, so the neighborhood can appreciate in value. They don't ask how much you got. Your house, you got a mortgage? You got a mortgage? You don't make more money because you don't have a mortgage. Your money ain't making no money. When you put money in the house, in the equity, you get zero growth. That's why we say instead of putting it and paying off the house, we rather take that money and put it somewhere else and let it grow. That's why we do it. But you don't take good money and do that. You leverage it, because I can take that 1.5 million and get him 12%. So now he getting 12%. So now he getting 12%, 6% he can pay the mortgage, another 6% free. So then he still got his 1.5. You see, that's why I borrow. See, so when you and even if you have a house that's paid off and you say, man, Robert, I hear you. How do I get money out these walls? So now you got to qualify. You got to prove that you can pay the bank back what you're going to take. What you put the money in there. Now you want to get it out. Now you got to go and beg somebody and qualify and whatever they pay you to take your money back out. Does that make a lot of sense? No, but people do it every day. So they go ahead and refi now, pull money out. When you pull money out, you don't pay taxes on that because you borrowed money against your already asset. So the tax law says anytime, like the wealthy people that have stocks, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Microsoft. You know, they have billions of dollars in stocks. What they do is they borrow against, they pledge their stocks and they get tax-free money. So they never, so that they don't pay a lot of taxes because they just borrow against what they have and they live their whole lifestyle. They get tax-free money. When you borrow, it's tax-free money that you can go and juggle and do whatever you want to and flip that money. So that's why the life insurance strategy is good. You put $100,000 in there, you tell them, no, don't withdraw my money out. My money can keep making compound interest, but I need some money. So now if you need some money, you just, and they ain't gonna ask you for no financial statement to prove you qualify. If you got money in there, that's you. They ain't gonna ask you no questions. They ain't gonna ask you what you're gonna do with the money. They ain't gonna ask you if you have a job. They ain't gonna ask you about your credit because you got $100,000 in there. If you got $50,000 in there, you need to borrow $30,000. They ain't gonna ask you fill out some paperwork to see if we're gonna approve you. No, you already prove yourself worthy by saving and having the money. That's why blessed to the ones that have, for they should have more. And that's how you leverage to get more. You're supposed to be working this thing, but they don't teach us this in school or college. You have to ask. You have to knock. You have to seek. You have to listen to shows like this, and then you have to develop a relationship with somebody like the Henderson Financial Group that's going to teach you and show you how it's done. Don't lean on your own understanding. A lot of people, engineers, doctors, I get them all, preachers, they don't know. They're good at what they do. Just like I don't know about fixing no car. I've never done an oil change. I don't know nothing about none of that. You put up the hood, I don't know what look like, I don't know, look crazy. I don't know. I have to ask somebody who I trust about the car. So you don't feel ashamed. Don't try to act like you need to know all this. There's a lot of stuff to know, man. I don't know how to cook. I like to eat, but I can pay somebody. Or a good thing I got a good wife that likes to cook. You know, all three of my girls are excellent cookers. Even my two boys are good cookers. Everybody can cook but me. Do I have to cook? No. I got my wife and I got 5 kids. Somebody gonna cook, but I ain't got no time to be cooking. I ain't got no time to be doing that. I'd rather be doing something. I ain't painting my house either. Can I paint? Yeah, I can read. If you can read, you can do a whole lot of things. But I don't want to do that. That's why I was talking about golf. I'm pretty sure I can be a good golfer, but I like doing what I'm doing now, discovering, learning, sharing, building wealth for myself and building wealth for other people. The more I build for you, the more I build for myself. First, I got to build for you. I can't. That's how the universal law is. You cannot enrich yourself first. The universal law says you must enrich others. If you want to be wealthy, Robert, you got to enrich others. You got to enrich my people. You got to tell them, then you will be enriched. It can't go. It don't go first me. No. I gotta take care of y'all. Then the universal law says once you take care of them, make them happy, then they will refer people, and then that's how you get wealthy. But not until you take care of my people. That's what the universal law. That's why I understand. That's why I don't play that lotto, because the whole ones I'm enriching. That's why I don't do it. I never did it. You know. Now when I was younger, when I was 20 years old, I was trying to get rich quick. I went to the dog track, horse track, did all that kind of stuff, trying to get the easy way off, all that kind of stuff. And one day, when I was 20 years old, I took my last $20 right before Christmas and went to the track and lost all 20. Cried all the way back home. Swore I was never going to do it anymore. They tricked me because they told me the favorites, and I bet the favorites, and they had the little program and said, this guaranteed to win. And then I found out they lying. And I said, oh, Lord, they ain't going to trick me no more. And that's how I learned about that. I'm not a gambler. I'm what you call a calculated risk taker. But listen, I want you all to call me so we can have an individual discussion and see that you qualify. Is that plan, that single premium where you can take, we call lazy money that's sitting around. A lot of people have, especially the people that, you know, have amassed some money. They have, we call it lazy money that's sitting in the bank, sitting in a CD, sitting somewhere that's not really maxed out and doing the best for them. I want them to call me. I want you to call me. And even if you have some retirement money that you want to take out of the stock market because you know it's up, it's going to come down, pull some of it out and then we'll do this plan. And it's a single premium. There's no monthly stuff. And your money grow minimum 5%. I want to tell you more about that. I get off when I help people and I tell you more things that you can do and you're not even knowing it was on the planet. A year ago, I didn't even know that it was on the planet, this strategy. And as I learn it, I bring it to you. I really do. Why? Because I love sharing, because I get my blessings every time I help you. I really do. Y'all want to know what's in it for me? Every time I help you, I get blessed. So you're not going to stop me from helping you. People say, Robert, you tell people too much. No, I don't. They say, man, a man gonna come and stop you. Well, I don't talk to enough y'all. It's not like I got 100 million people listening to me. I ain't got 100 million followers. And half of y'all that's listening to me, y'all ain't gonna do nothing anyway. So I ain't got to worry about them stopping me or shutting me down because I'm telling y'all so much. I'm not moving it like that. But anyway, Kent Redhead, how you doing, my brother? Norbik, how you doing? Y'all just tuning in now? It's almost over. It's 5. Y'all just signing on now. But I want you to go back and listen to this program. And as you listen to this program, I want you to be creative and see how you could ideas. That product I just told you about, minimum 25,000, single premium, and you have access to it, and you can't lose a dime. And if you want to get your money back, they give you all your money back. Isn't that something? They give it all back. You cannot lose. And plus, they pay you, like I say, minimum 5%. But the stock market go up in a year, 10%, 12% in there. They give you that too. So it's pretty good. I like it. I'm on to it. Call me to see does it fit with you, or there's something that may work well for you. It's another avenue, another asset, another strategy, and you need to have as many arsenal and other strategies to combat this world and what's going on. You got to build wealth, but you got to be able to. Surely we're better than squirrels, so don't eat all your nuts. A squirrel eats his nuts and then puts some nuts aside for the winter or for retirement, basically. So that's what you need to do too. You don't just speak every time you get a dime, you spend it all up. Some people got that mentality. After they pay their bills, whatever is left, they're supposed to go and just, that's their lifestyle. No. Like I say, you can have a good time, go to dinner or whatever, but you ain't got to eat out. Man, people come in here and spending $2,000 a month eating out. Can you believe that? Eating out, man, making the restaurant of people rich. That's a lot of money to be eating out. $2,000 spending a month. But it depends on what kind of money you're making. If you're making $1 million, that's not a lot of money. But if you're making under 100,000, you spending $2,000 a month eating out. I mean, that's $24,000. That's a quarter of your money. That's not. So you don't want that to happen. But anyway, so Norbert, you say you're watching me on YouTube. Okay, I like that. Yeah, because we are on Facebook and we are on YouTube, and you can go back and watch this program as much as you want. I want you to share it. It's gonna be on YouTube and Facebook forever. Okay, so learn something. Listen. I love you all. I really do care. And if you learn anything today, then I want you all to put a 1 in the chat box to let me know you learned something. Give you a new idea. Because I tell you, I did not know that you can actually pay one time single premium index universal life insurance. I didn't know that. And then you can leverage it. I cannot stress how important and how great leveraging means. Leveraging meaning you don't have to spend your money, but if you got money, you can get somebody else's money. That's pretty good. It's like, hey, I save this money, but I don't want you to touch my money. I want my money to be safe. So now I got money. What you gonna give me? And they reward you for it. That's why the rich keep getting richer. So that's why you have got to have a war chest. You got to save your money. And even if you saved it inside of your 401k plan or retirement plan, a lot of people didn't know this one. I'm going to tell you also. If you say you working, you got 3 more years to work, or 5 more years to work, or 10 more years to work, and you've been putting money every pay period or whatever into your 401k plan, okay? There's something that I want you to call your employer. If it's Fidelity, Vanguard, American Funds, whatever, I want you to call them and say, hey, can I do an in-service rollover? In-service meaning that you can still be working because you got 5 more years. Maybe you in drop. I don't know. You got 5 more years. And you want to call them and say, listen, I know I got 3 more years before I have access to my money. But I see something I want to call Henderson, and I want to put some money in this program. Normally, you can't take money out of your retirement account until you actually leave service, until you retire, until you leave the company. But a lot of people don't know why you're in the company. If you say the magic word, in service, like you still serving the company, in service rollover, you could take a chunk of that money, all of it, and take it and roll it over and put it outside the company and make better investments possibly, you know? But you got to ask. I can tell you something, man. You got to ask, seek, and knock. You ask. You don't have because you never ask. You never seek. Don't just sit there. I'm telling you, ask about an in service. You got to call Fidelity and say, listen, I work for FP&L. FP&L, they do it all the time. Home Depot. I do a lot of people that work for American Express. I do people who work for Federal Express, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all these companies, UPS. They don't know they can do an in-service rollover, but they don't just have to have the money inside of the company stock. They can take a portion of it. And then they can say, okay, the market going up and down. They were looking at their statement every month and say, oh man, it's up and down. You can take some of it and say, okay, I want to move over $200,000. I can put into this plan. If I move over $200,000, they're gonna match it 50%. So you roll over $200,000, they're gonna match it 50%. That means they'll give you $100,000. So now you got $300,000. You took it out of your company plan where it's $200,000, and you do an in-service rollover, and you roll it over to this other company, this insurance company. That $200,000 turns to $300,000, and you cannot lose it. So you just made $100,000 just by rolling over. So you wondering why everybody else getting rich and I'm not rich? Because you're not asking. You're not seeking. You got the man. We live in a world of information. Man, you can't just sit there and think somebody gonna take care of you. You don't know? No. That's why I tell you I go to these conferences all the time, because I know they doing something over there that I don't know about. What they doing over there? I'm nosy. I'm an explorer, and you should be an explorer also. Okay, listen, it's 10:02. I love you all. Hope you learned something today. Call 305-825-1444. Area code 305-825-1444. Get on my calendar. Confidential. We can do a Zoom. We can do just a conference call, and we'll talk about your stuff. Okay, everything private. Listen, I love you all. Stay tuned. We'll be back here next week. James T. He'll be back in the Kingdom Studio, and then we'll be able to hear him and hear him talk also. Much love. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and be safe. Peace. Love you.